So every year, about 490,000 homes in Canada change ownership. And for each transaction, a lawyer takes about $1,000. So that's about $490 million a year that people spend on lawyers to facilitate real estate transactions. So why do we pay lawyers so much money? Because lawyers generate trust. If you sell me your house, you don't know if I really will show up with the money. And to be honest, I don't really know if you will show up and give me your house, or if you will just take my money and do nothing. And so we need lawyers to create this trust. And blockchain technology can help us to make this cheaper and more efficient. So for that, we can use a technology called non-fungible tokens, or NFTs, which at the moment is mostly used to trade and secure digital art pieces, like this Bored Ape picture you see here on the slide. And this picture, by the way, was sold for $3.4 million at Sotheby's. And this is one of the golden Bored Apes. And we can use this, well, this is all great and very useful. We can use this technology also for more serious applications like real estate transactions. So we can tokenize with the same technology the land title for your house. And once your house is on the blockchain, we can then facilitate the trade and the exchange problem of I give you the token and you give me the house can be done with an automated program, a so-called smart contract on a blockchain. It's a simple enough exchange of goods. If you provide the house and I don't show up with the money, then the house goes back to you. If I give the money and you don't deliver the house, then the money goes back to me, and otherwise an exchange is facilitated. This is a simple enough problem that a little computer program can do that, and we can run this on a blockchain. The blockchain generates the trust we need, and we can make sure that nobody takes advantage of anybody else, and so we don't really need to pay the lawyers. We can do this on a chain much cheaper and much faster and more efficiently. So in general, what is a blockchain? A blockchain is a decentralized ledger that records on who owns what. And this is quite an achievement. It runs on many computers on the internet simultaneously. There's no company behind it. There's no central authority like a government which ensures that everything is done properly. And yet, everybody agrees on the same ownership structure of who owns which tokens. So modern blockchains, on top of that, allow you to deploy little computer programs onto that blockchain, so-called smart contracts. And these computer programs are not as powerful as a video game or anything, but they can be used to facilitate simple computations. And those computer programs are immutable, so we cannot really change anything. So if in the real estate example, it is not in the computer code that somebody steals the money, then nobody can steal the money because it's not in the code. So we can therefore totally predict what's going to happen, and these smart contracts can execute that in a trusted. Modern blockchains, to address one point that is often raised, also are far more environmentally efficient than the first generation of blockchains. So a modern blockchain like Ethereum, for example, uses about half as much electricity as the British Museum to run, so the environment is not so much a concern anymore with blockchain technology. So what will blockchain technology bring us? Is this the tool to free us from the shackles of government? I don't really think that this is what's going to happen. Maybe that's the case if you live in a country where you really have bad government and the government expropriates you and takes away your assets and your money. So then Bitcoin might seem like a good alternative. But in most Western democracies, we are not in that situation. And in fact, if you think about tokenizing a house, you maybe want to have some government involvement there, because the government involvement allows us also to superimpose the court system on the blockchain so that in case something would go wrong, the courts could still intervene and fix things for us. So I think in some way we will need some kind of government involvement in many aspects of blockchain technology in the future. So let's continue our mortgage example. Once we have bought the house, now we need a mortgage for that. And today, if you look at mortgage markets, this involves a lot of paperwork. There's also mortgage fraud. It generates problems for both borrowers and banks. So with the blockchain technology, we can make this both more efficient and also safer for everybody. Those digital house tokens cannot be falsified, they cannot be forged, so the risk of fraud goes down, and you just send your little house token to a computer program on the blockchain, to a smart contract, and then you get the money in return. And so that can again be automated, saving costs, cutting paperwork. As another example, think about a farmer in Saskatchewan who wants to make sure that she is insured against the adverse event that it doesn't rain enough in Saskatchewan. How can we use blockchain technology to simplify that and make this more efficient? If you have a trusted provider of data, like say Environment Canada, who feeds weather data into the blockchain, then we can just have a little computer program on the blockchain count how much rain has fallen in that part of Saskatchewan. Was this below the agreed amount? And if yes, then automatically a payment is made to the farmer without any human intervention, without any paperwork. And this would again be much more efficient and simpler than the system we have today. In the financial world, we also have huge impact of blockchain technology on financial transactions. So at the moment, there's every day billions of dollars being traded by smart contracts in blockchains. And in my own research, I found that this system of trading with smart contracts is actually more efficient than the system of exchanges we have today, say the way the Toronto Stock Exchange is organized or the New York Stock Exchange is organized. These new systems where smart contracts let you trade tokens on the blockchain can easily be extended to stocks and would provide greater liquidity and lower trading costs, potentially saving billions of dollars for participants in financial markets today. Another place where this might be very useful is the so-called repo market. So this is a short-term market where banks borrow and lend each other money with collateral, usually treasury bonds as collateral. Most of you have not heard of this, but this is a $4 trillion market. And again, we could use existing technology and blockchains today to make this more efficient, cheaper, and faster and more transparent than the system we have today. Smart contracts and blockchain technology is always very useful where we have very simple computation and something like state contingent payoffs, like the farmer gets paid when it doesn't rain in Saskatchewan. The similar problem applies to stock options. You might have got some stock options as part of your compensation package, and stock options are based on a very simple mathematical formula. Simple enough that we can just put that in a piece of computer code and put it on the blockchain. This will allow us, again, to run stock options and automatically settle stock options on the blockchain faster, cheaper, and more efficiently than we are doing this today. As a final example, I want to bring up financing for small businesses. Today, if you are a small entrepreneur and you have a receivable from a reputable company like IBM, it is very hard to borrow against that receivable if it's a small amount for a few $1,000s. Why? Because the bank doesn't really know if the receivable is genuine, and it would cost a lot for the bank to set up a loan for a fairly small amount. We could use, again, blockchain technology to tokenize that receivable in a digital form. Then it would not be hard to verify that this is truly issued by IBM or another reputable company. So the bank doesn't have to be worried about fraud. And again, the whole handling of the loan, the issuance of the loan could also be delegated to a little computer program on the blockchain. So we don't need any paperwork. We don't need a lot of back office jobs. We could just automate that on a blockchain. All these smart contracts generate liabilities and payment requirements. So how will we make those payments? So most countries around the world are working today on central bank digital currency. So this is just a digital version of the dollar we have today. And this central bank digital currency lends itself very nicely to work in this blockchain environment. So we will be able to use our regular Canadian dollars to buy a house, but the underlying transaction, which you will probably not see, will be running on a blockchain. Central bank digital currency really opens up a lot of opportunities to make the economy more efficient, to make this faster and cheaper to run. Big changes will be coming with blockchain technology. This will be faster and allow huge cost savings. There will be more companies starting up, new fintechs will emerge, competition will increase in the economy, and things will be run more efficiently. So I strongly encourage you today to get acquired with this new technology. Take $200, buy some tokens, swap them on the blockchain, take a collateralized loan. Keep in mind that two things. First of all, you will probably lose everything that you have, and that's okay. It's a learning experience, right? So you pay this money to learn about this new technology, not to get rich. And second, we're still at the very early stages of blockchain technology. So this is like using the internet when we still had dial-up modems, and setting up an email account took 2 days. So we're still kind of in that phase of this technology, but it's emerging very rapidly. So to summarize, I think blockchain technology is not there to free us from government. It's there to reduce costs and open up new opportunities to increase competition. Finally, if you have a business or just for yourself, try to learn how this new technology works. It will come for sure. It's just a question of time. Try to build up the human capital today. Well, thank you very much, and thanks for coming.